Hi everyone. Right, well, I'm not sure if I'm on my own here, so I've got a lot of people concurrent views. Can someone say hello in the chat just to make sure it's working? Because I'm not actually sure if anyone's online here. Oh yeah, hello. Oh, okay, that's weird. Oh, here they come. Good, eh? Grab me beer. Hello everyone. I might hang on just for a few people more. Oh, hello Paul. And then I'll go through what I'm going to be talking about today. I take it sounds alright? Sounds okay, is it? Hello from Denmark, yeah. Hello. Right. So, what's today all about? I'm assuming you all know about the monitor, or even over there. Some people confused. Some people are a bit confused. They let me move that out of the way. Actually, get an echo. Some people seem to think it's a finished product. It's not. I'm doing this the way I did the Plus case. Let me just kill that volume on there because it's echoing, and there we go. I'm doing this like I did the Plus case, in that I've got the basic ideas and everything I want to do, and I've got the initial design, but yeah, hopefully that echo should go away because I had the speakers next to the mic, the little headphones next to the mic, so it should be alright shortly. So the initial Plus case, I kind of did it in the public view. So the idea was that I had done the basic design, but I'd kind of do it so that people can see, develop, and to build a community. I didn't expect it to be this big a community. I didn't expect that this many people to be interested, I'll be honest. But the idea was so that people can comment, people can make suggestions as I go along. Because there's no point, I'm designing it for myself, and hopefully others will like it. But not what I need is not the same as what everyone else needs. Now this one, the monitor, is a bigger project. So it's much more complex. But unfortunately, now I've kept this. I've only promoted it to my Patreon page, a Discord page, and my Facebook group. So in theory, it's only people who know how I do things or have seen what I do. But it seems to have obviously slipped out, and other people are commenting, and they're throwing in with the armchair development experts. But it's obviously made it clear that there are certain things that people need, and this is another reason for doing it. Right, so if you're here, I'm going to give you some information so you can go, oh, this is rubbish, I'm off, right? Or if you realise how I work, then you'll realise that actually no, because I've said certain things, there are issues. And so today, I'm going to tell you all the problems. All of them. But you'll have to excuse me because I've had a cold for the last couple of days, so my throat's not too good. And my voice might go a bit weird. But so, people are saying, a lot of people are going, oh no, 15 kilohertz. Well, I don't even, I mean, I understand the 15 kilohertz monitors, the old monitors were 15 kilohertz. Who has a 15 kilohertz monitor nowadays? In all reality, who does? However, I'm doing everything I can to support it. But the reality is, the standard. I've got to. Okay, so let's give you the things that I know, right? So this, it is still at the moment my choice of controller. I think you should be able to see this. Okay, this is still my choice of controller, and the reason for the choice was not only it's got you know HDMI, you got VGA, you even got USB. Actually, fun enough, so they can play MP4 files, which is quite nice. Display pictures, that kind of stuff. But it's also got an AV input section, so it's got two composite inputs. You've only got one here. No, I think actually there's two on there. So you can switch between two composites. But there's also this one here, where my finger is a component input, and that's obviously component video. This one here is for an internal HDMI. So you have you can have internal. So what I mean by internal is, because you all know about the. Let me just change the picture. Yeah. Right. So if you see the monitor just here, you can see the pods. If you don't know anything about it, you'll have to catch up. I'm sorry, but if you look at the picture, you see it's got. I'm calling them pod bays, all right? Because I like the film, obviously. And this one is going to go in the bottom pod, as well as a breakout board with extra ports, okay? And the other two are for other bits. So, for example, it's gone missing a miniature version of the D10 Nano kit to go inside. That would then connect via the internal HDMI, see? The Raspberry Pi. I've actually got a small fitting kit to go in my Plus cases now. Yes, they will be painted when they're finished. Well, this finished. This is not painted. But that's so you can put an Amiga and a Raspberry Pi in a case, a real Amiga. And other things. Now, also on top of that, what I'm trying to do is cover as much as I can with the basics. Okay? And so if you've got a composite you want to plug into it, it's no problem. You've got two composites, you can switch between them, wallop. So that's really good. And the component obviously is another one, because it doesn't have, it's got the VGA on here, right? And the Amiga, you can get an adapter that goes into it. The trouble is, if you've got like it's a VGA, so it's 31 kilohertz. So it's not. This will not accept 15 kilohertz. Okay. And the component does, because it's going into a video processor and then converting, making it full screen and putting it onto the display. So that and it's pretty good. It is pretty good. The composite looks good. And the other nice thing about it is absolutely stabilizes, as rock solid. But of course, I did find one issue, so you might as well all know. And the issue is this. So this is the bit where all those are going, oh, that's a pile of junk, I'm off. This is your cue. When I put the Amiga, I plugged the Amiga in. So this is made by a guy in France, I forget his name. But basically it's an RGB, goes into the back of the Amiga, comes out with components. So I always thought that's really useful. Go straight into here, I've got the cable all set up, plugs in, looks fantastic. Okay, absolutely fantastic. But at the moment, for some reason, it's not accepting non-interlace. Now, this is where people have cropped up and said to me, yeah, but can you do 240p, right? I must admit, I assume this is the bit where I'm on a learning curve. I kind of assumed, because the composite was handling low resolution and all the demos and all the games worked fine, I assumed the component would be the same. Yeah, okay, so at the moment, the way it stands at the moment, is that you can't put 240p's at the moment. Now I'm talking to them, we're sort of talking about the firmware, see if we can improve the firmware. But it's kind of probably, if it's not possible, it's going to accelerate the kind of phase 2 part of this. So what is phase 2? Well, phase 2 is basically putting in scan doublers, you know, like the low latency scan doublers. Now, you've obviously got the OSSC. I've got one upstairs I'm testing. And yeah, of course it works great. I mean, yeah. It's good at what it does, but I don't think it does an awful lot. So, but it is good at what it does, and it is true. People have said if you really want to play with it, it's quite kind of complex. But it does have basic modes. You plug it in, you press a mode, and away it goes. So at the moment, this is really good for any interlace inputs. Component. Composite, no problem. Okay, composite is no problem. But I've got to do some latency testing because this is obviously, I always knew I'd have to do some latency testing. So I'm going to do some latency testing to see what the composite is like, because it's going through and it's being processed. It looks pretty quick, but you can tell there's possibly a one frame, I think, maybe delay. But that's what I'm going to look into. But also what I'm now looking into, there is obviously the OSSC, but there's another one out there, which I don't want to mention at the moment until I've had a look at it and tested it. But it looks quite good, because what I want to do is have a basic version, and then you can have this version to plug in. Probably, if the basic one's good, and everyone I've seen talk about it seems to think it's good, and the price is quite good, and if I can get for large numbers the price is good, I can just throw it in with every single one. So you'll be able to plug in component into that, and it will scan, and you'll get your 240p. So you are going to get, I'm not releasing this monitor, I'm not kickstarting it if it can't do non-interlace, you know, low resolution demo, mainly because I want demos, right, and the games. So it isn't going to become a product. It might just be I've spent £1,000 making molds, making 3D prints, which should be here in about a week, doing all the amount of work, pay for all that, I've got a really expensive prototype, right? Not doing that, but it does mean potentially that there's going to be a second board to this, right? But that is the testing side of this. Now, having said that, a lot of people won't give a monkey about those bits, because they're just going to come straight in HDMI, or they're going to go in via there, or they don't need low resolution. And this board is going to be instantly good, because all the colours are lovely. The panel's great. You know, so the speakers, I've got a pair of that. It proved that I could wire them up, put it that way. And there's on here there is a stereo audio output. So I've got it wired to speakers, but you can also, there's other ones in here as well actually. But I want to potentially put output on the monitor so you can whack them into to proper speakers. But my aim was to have some relatively nice speakers in the chassis, bolted to the steel frame. Probably have to rubber mount them. Maybe, I don't know yet, because I'm not done speakers. But they sound really good. In fact, they're really loud. So I got the ohms right, and I think it's slightly higher wattage than it recommends. But for some reason, they're quite loud, because the ones that came on it were tiny. Yeah. So this is still at the moment my board of choice, and I'm hoping, because they did say they'll change the firmware for me, so I'm hoping, because bearing in mind it's only Monday, so I've asked the question, I had a response, but it wasn't a very useful one. So I'm hoping that we can solve the problem on here. Now this one, to me, if I can get it to do the 240p and the non-interlace modes with this board, it'd be great for 95% of people. 90%, I think so, because the component looked absolutely amazing. But then the other people who really latency is everything, and pixel quality is everything. It's just going to be a plug-in. It's going to be, you know, another board goes in there and it connects into the HDMI instant, you know, and you get your professional scaling solutions, I say, that goes into the monitor. And that was always the plan with this. That's why we have these pod bays. So one for this, one for your scalers, and one for a built-in computer. And or anything else that people can think about to go in there. So yeah, this is a journey. It's I'm still very pleased with it. It's up in the loft at the moment, and it's all set up. And I've got the two panels up there testing the panels, and it's a bit cold because we've had a bit of a storm here. But yeah, so quite pleased with this. A bit of a hiccup on the road, the 240p. Yes, so because it has been mentioned. And I just assumed that it would be fine because composite was perfect. But yeah, so we'll see how we go with that. But the worst case scenario, I end up putting another board in there that does it, and you plug into that board, which goes into HDMI, and do it that way. Right, as I always say, if you've got any questions, stick questions at the front. I'm going to have a quick look. Clear delay there. Please ensure that no electric hissing will come from the panel. It's quite annoying and happens in the case of cheap LCD panel controllers. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. That's the last thing I want either. I'm trying to, as I said, I'm trying to make this for me, something I want. In an ideal world, it would sit on these computers. That's really what I'm trying to do, and I don't want horrible noise. Right, did you read the Ferrero Rocher? So, that's an update on the monitor. If you've got any questions, if I haven't covered it, let me switch over to this. Is this it? Oh, it's gone to sleep. Look. Bit of a pain. Will the black one have a lighter insert? Oh, bezel. Do you know, that's a really good question. I haven't thought about it, to be honest. I just thought about black. I mean, I'm not really. I haven't really thought about that. That's a very good point. Don't know the answer to that yet. We're a while away from choosing that. I think it might be a poll time again. Yeah, let's switch that up. There you go. I think that'll be a poll question. It is an interesting one. Poll. You're gonna have to experiment colours. The colour, it'll be black, just like the other ones. Yeah, a kind of a dark grey, I suppose. Good question. Sorry, I'm thinking about it. Yeah, because as I said, nothing's set in stone, and that's why I'm doing this. This is why I want to do these chats, because I want to make something that everyone wants to buy, and I've had a bit grief's the wrong word, but I've had some interesting comments made. Oh no, 15 kilohertz. No 15 kilohertz support. Well, I haven't even finished it yet, you know. So it's interesting because there are potentially some 15 kilohertz LCD panels out there, but they're gonna have to be good because I don't want rubbish ones. As far as an HDMI comes with a license fee, which will likely be passed on to backers, would it make sense to cut costs by calling it digital video? That's actually a good question because it's actually built onto the board. So you'd like to think the license has been paid by the board manufacturers, so the people who make the boards, and not me. But it's an interesting point because again, all this needs costing. You know, I haven't done any. Well, I've done some rough costing, but it's a lot more involved. I mean, there's potentially, I may have to get FCC approval, that kind of thing. Don't know. I don't know whether for America. So there's all that I've got to deal with. But I think China probably doesn't pay their fees. Hang on a second. No sneezing. It's a good question. It's a very good question. But I think call it digital video. But it's on the board, so on the bits I'm putting in it, I'm not actually putting HDMI on it. So I'm not actually. I'm putting it on the product, so I don't know whether it's a cop out or not. I don't know. That's the stuff that I've got to look into. That's why this is going to take a while. But to me, it's more about making it do what people want, because it's a retro monitor. It's pointless if you can't run retro systems on it. But my testing with the OSSC has gone well. And well, of course, it did bring up one thought, was that if you put that in the back, I can get all the cables connected and I can connect internally, but it's got that little LCD on it. And what do I do with that? Because it'll be hidden away inside. And considering having a custom board made, but there is another one out there which apparently will do what I think is a reasonable job, and it's been quite well received from what I've seen, and a lot cheaper, and it's very specific about what it does, which I think would be enough, because all I'm trying to do is get the latency down and make it so that you can plug anything in at 240p, NTSC, PAL. I've got all the interlace modes fine. I mean, this thing's fantastic. I mean, absolutely fantastic. In fact, the one thing I found was that the OSSC makes a display, because it's interlaced display it puts out, and it hasn't got deinterlace on here. And so the display flickers. Whereas if you go into the component on here, it's rock solid. So I'm hoping they'll put the 240p on here. But of course that, again, could introduce latency, and it's how bad it is. And, the last thing I want is to bring this out and then it gets completely slated, because, it's got the latencies not as good as it could be. But I think you've got to take a balancing act on here. If you're going to want the latency to be nil, you may have to put up with the flickering, because again, de-interlacers can put some latency in. So so this is all I'm learning as I'm going along here. Did you ever consider a metal powder coated rear? A metal powder coated rear. I mean, all my metalwork's powder coated. All my cases are. The plastics are not, but the bulk of this case is going to be plastic. It's got a metal internal structure, big metal internal structure, but the everything else is plastic. But then where the pods are, they will be metal. Let me grab this and see if I can do it without making too much of a banging noise. So this is my ITX one, so if you imagine it like half the depth, I mean, it's basically going to be like that, but with like a wing, and then you screw it in. So actually, it's quite nice. If you look at that picture that Paul did, hang on, let's go back to that picture. If you look at the picture here, can you see it's got like that little ridges? I actually really like that. So we're going to probably do that in the mould. So when we push these in and screw these into place, when you put these in, screw these into place, they've got a little flange and it will disappear into the back of the monitor. So you'll have some blanks, and then you'll have the, you put more pods into it. That's the plan. Because some people really talk about actually just having one of these with a computer in it, like a D10 Nano or a Pi, and just having a keyboard and mouse, which is kind of it's designed to do that. I mean, I've designed it to make it look good on top of a computer, or behind an old like a C64, that kind of thing. The other thing, of course, to bear in mind is this: although the renders. Actually, Paul put that lovely little door on the front. There's no door on the front at the moment. Put that door on, and it looks really nice. But it's gonna have a chin underneath it with the controls, so it's gonna be slightly different to the way that looks. But I'm still playing with the design. Help with sound. Yeah, sound is. I'm not an audio engineer. I'm not any kind of engineer, actually, to be fair. That's why I try and work with really clever people. But it's going to be a case of we build it, the prototype, build it, and see what we need to do. Then speak to experts, because it's not going to be designed to have kick-ass audio, but I want it to sound reasonably good. A little bit of bass in it and so on. And the speakers I've got at the moment, which are really cheap rubbish ones, they're actually quite big, 2-inch ones, and they actually sound quite. I think they're going to sound quite good inside, once bolted to the chassis. So it'll have a reasonable sound, but it's not meant to be your audio system. I still think you put these things on here that I have. Is Edu maybe doing the Mr. Backplane? I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I don't know at the moment, because you don't really look. It doesn't really need much of a backplane. I mean, it literally. I've done this kit here, as you can see here, right? And this is just my low cost fitting kit for the D10, and it's just a case of one of the existing boards. Stick on the other one on top of it, because again the sizes on here aren't necessarily the final sizes, and then some ports to fit it in. So I don't know whether there's any kind of backplane needed, to be honest, but if there is and it makes sense, then I can talk to Edu. And I'm not sure what repo man, and will he include a space for an interface at the last moment? Oh, okay. I don't know. No, what? No, the only thing that they do at the moment is I love what he did. The only thing was he kind of added a bit that I was unaware of, hadn't planned for. If I'd been an engineer, if I'd spotted it, I could have spotted it on the tracks. But he never. This optical audio on the Mystics. I had no idea, but there you go. No, it's not a silly joke. It's absolutely true. Yeah, the optical audio was disappointing because he's got my case and he didn't fit. He tested it on a different case. And bearing in mind, I know it's meant to be mini ITX, but obviously it has to work in mine. So yeah, it's a bit disappointing. But look, the rest of it's fantastic. So. It's a minor little thing, but next time it'll be lockdown. Here's what I want. Here's it'll be completely locked down. No extras. Right, Peter. While a monitor project is mostly about designing hardware, software drivers may be necessary to fully adhere to various display standards. Do you plan supporting? See, I don't know. It's just a standard panel. These are going to be 12 at the moment. They're 1280 by 1024 panels. It's 60 hertz. It may change. It may be higher. Maybe a higher resolution. At the moment, no, because they're industrial panels. So you're kind of limited what you get. But my key thing was the quality, but I think the existing. Oh look, all mine just work. I mean, well, that's actually not on it, but I've plugged the Mystics. I plugged the UnAmiga into it. They all work. They look fantastic. I think the P96 drivers out of the box will probably work without a problem. P96 for RTG graphics modes. I mean, I don't need to admit it's got a VGA port on it, and it's got an HDMI port, and it's bog standard display. It's nothing out of the ordinary, so it should just work out of the box. Right, is there any more questions about the monitor? Any even awkward ones? Because I do want to have a little chat about an Amiga in a minute. So if you've got any more questions about the monitor, fire away. Okay, right. So you can always come back to it, because I'm only going to go for about an hour today. I'm not doing a crazy long one, so it'll be about an hour. Right. Now, excuse me. So let me just switch displays. Right. I want to talk about an Amiga. Do you know what was really funny? So 125 Mystics, which is understandable because the D10 Nano is amazing. But I sold 25 UnAmigas, and which I was quite surprised. The plan is to make the stand removable. Yeah. And I was really surprised, and so this part is why don't you buy an UnAmiga, basically. So, for those of you who don't know, right, so here's the thing. I really like the UnAmiga, okay? And so I put the two, you can see my two machines, hopefully you can make them out. My little 3000 is not too well, actually, to be fair. But my plan was to kind of compare them so people can see the two of them side by side. And the one on the right is obviously a Mini, but it's got an UnAmiga in it, and I think the UnAmiga is absolutely fantastic. Now let's have a little bit of history. I've done this before, but so this was the first one, and now there was another version as well. I think there was a couple of versions actually, but this was the original UnAmiga, and basically it performed like it was basically a 25 megahertz 4000 with AGA. It doesn't have any FPU because this is mini mig, okay, but it's a really good core, and the performance on this is nice. So this is probably 10-15% faster than my 3000 sitting there. And he adjusted this one to suit my cases, move things around so to fit my cases. But you can see it's got everything on it, and it's designed. The idea of this one is this one goes into a 500, and basically you plug your keyboard onto it. You got your mouse and joystick ports, your audio outputs, your VGA output, and it all runs from this little SD card. And it's absolutely brilliant. Has this little FPGA developer board on it, and I think it's absolutely amazing. If you want to build, if you're a bit of a hardcore Amiga fan like me, what you want is let me just show you something. I'm just gonna. You should be able to see this. I'm gonna turn this off. It actually takes the Mystics and this one take about 3 seconds to turn off. Watch this start up, okay? There you go, Mini Mig, right? If you get yourself a D10 Nano, it's not Amiga. It can run Mini Mig, yes, it runs it as a core, and I mean it'll run a lot of other stuff as well. But it's not just an Amiga. Now, again, I will say, technically, these Amigas can run like the Commodore one, the Spectrum Next, and there's 2 or 3 others. But I specifically, for my boards, wanted them to be Amiga. Now that doesn't mean you can't change them to run others, but by default they just come straight up. They come with a spinning ball, and away you go. But I've been really surprised that there's been everyone's after the Mystics. I get it, I totally get it, but I'm quite surprised. So, because if you really want to see, my thing was, I don't need to move, do I? If you look at the two on this picture here, the 3000, basically the one on the right is pretty much a 3000 with AGA, except it's twice as fast. In fact, it's about 2.25 times faster. So let's say twice as fast. But you have got AGA, and it runs really nice. So this one goes in a 500, and then you've also got this one, which is his standalone, which is actually really nice. You can buy this and be up and running for like £200, €200, and it comes with a power supply, and it's literally everything you need, and off you go. So when he did that, I asked him to create the UnAmiga for me, and so this is my version, and this is the ITX version. Now this actually is my prototype. The only difference is it has PS2 on there, whereas and also this it has PS2, whereas the new one's got USB. I wasn't a big fan of having USB on there. The main reason because people go, USB, great, fantastic, we can stick it. No, it's just an interface, and you have to have custom firmware for everything that goes into it. So I was never a big fan because it just confuses people, and also I actually think the latency is a little bit low on that. But anyway, that's beside the point. So all of the actual Mystics have 4 USB. Now, when I sell these, I'll come back to that bit in a minute because it's quite important. When I sell these, I sell them and I throw in a keyboard and a mouse. They're not the best in the world, but they're white. I'm actually only going to do these in white cases from now on, because I've only got these frames. I've only got in white. This is an old prototype one, hence the drilled out hole. But I'm only going to do these in white. I don't, because it's if you want a black one, you have it with it'll still be a white frame. But and I've only got white keyboards and mice, so I've got enough for every single one who buy one of these will get a keyboard and a mouse and also a gamepad, because you can use all your Amiga connections. You can put an Amiga mouse into the back, into here. You can put a joystick, any controllers that go in an Amiga, you can plug in there and control it. But because you've got this on the back, and it's very specific, the one they've done, which is one of the silly little Nintendo things. So I bought a load of them, and I throw one of them in it as well. So, but it's really, I just really like it. It's just like to me. I'm not saying it's the new Amiga. I'm not saying that at all. Because it's mini Amiga, it's as close as you're going to get to like I'd like to call it a hardcore FPGA Amiga. And that's pretty much what it is. And you get decent performance. And probably one of the best things is that when this one the new one came out, this board on here was a lot faster. So it went from like just over 3000 performance to twice the 3000 performance. But what it also allowed, because there's more room on it, you notice the display on there it's RTG, so you can have it's not up there with the D10, which can do like quite high 16-bit color, 24-bit colors. I tend to keep this in 256 colors, or 15-bit, but it slows down a little bit. But around 1024, 768. It's a basic RTG, and you can do widescreen, so like 1280 by 768, 256 colors. But RTG on it's just really nice, and it works really well. And so it's a bit like having an old 3000, a fast 3000 with an RTG card. It's even got like 2 mega chip RAM and about 20 mega fast RAM. So I really like it a lot, and I think he's done a fantastic job. And I'm really surprised because I've got 20 of these left. So this part of this video is I'm going to be doing a special offer, right? I'll tell you all now, right? Next week, I'm going to have a really good offer for 20 units, only 20 units, just so I can ship some stock. And then, because I've got to decide, because do I continue? I'd hoped that people would take to this, but it seems that some people have not. I just don't get it. But there you go. So, in about a week's time, there'll be a special offer which I'll be putting on here, and it'll be literally first come, first serve. I'll tell you now, it's about 400 quid for a complete system. Okay. Now, if you look at the prices online nowadays, power supply, this, all the software, it's a way past that. And so I'm going to do a really special price, mainly because I can sell these, get them out there at cost for the boards and what have you. I can get them out before Christmas. You can have them before Christmas, and people can have some fun with these, because I really like them. I like them a hell of a lot. That's not so I don't like the D10s. The D10 is really good, but as I said, when you turn that on, it's Amiga. That's all it is. It's just Amiga. Now let's get back to this. This, I still have not got this sorted out, but basically this would allow you to have fast serial speed networking. Now, at the moment, to set it up is a bit of a nightmare, and I haven't done it yet, and there is instructions on how to do it. And I've already said, if anyone's got one of these and they've done it and they can do a video that's relatively easy to follow, I'll give them the money back on their board, okay? Because it's going to be worth it for everyone else. I'll probably beat you to it. But I intend, now I'm going to get a little bit more time. One of my jobs I'm going to do, I'm going to get this thing working. Now, what is this going to do for you? Because it's wireless, so basically what will happen is it will connect to it uses serial speed. There's actually a word for it, but I can't remember what it is now. But it's running at serial speed, but it'd be great for things like, I mean, it's TCP/IP. You still need a TCP/IP stack, but it's great for things where it's just chat. So if you can go online and just FTP stuff, it won't be super fast, but it'll be just enough, I think, to be able to FTP into another machine, or like Aminet, or things like that, to be able to do basic on this, because I still think this is really good. If you just want to play now, the thing about this is, right, let me just run something. So the big thing about this is, right, so you've probably seen Tiny Launcher before. I'm going to turn this down. Right, put that on. Oh, can you see that? It's a bit dark, isn't it? It'll come up. The thing about it is that if you just want to play all the Amiga games library, and I don't mean your fast 3D stuff, okay? It's not for that. But if all the basic the bitmap games, the 2D games, you can play all of them. Way more than you need. Most of your demos this can play. Remember, it's mini mig. So you're basically getting a fantastic little Amiga. I keep saying that, but I really do like it. And then, do you like the black colour? Because I see you've got to be black. Having this inside and actually playing it, I mean, it's an Amiga, and as I said, I really like it. Right, so next week I'm going to put a page up. There's only 20. I've only got 20 boards left, but they'll be complete systems. So you'll get a white, only white, because it's stupid any other colour, because I've only got white keyboard and mice, and I've got white panels. So you're going to get, the price is going to be £400, £399. You're going to get the case, you're going to get the keyboard and mouse, you're going to get the gamepad, you're going to get the board with the mount plane, the power supply, all the software. So all the licenses for Amiga Forever 9 and 3.1.4, you're going to get the license for everything, right? Until these 20 are gone. Once they're gone, they're gone. And there might be more, but you know, we'll see how it goes in the future. But there's only 20 left, so I thought the best thing to do is just to do a really good price for Christmas, ship them out, and then people can really. I hope people will really enjoy them. Now, on the subject of that networking, it's going to be my job to get that going because I really want to be able to do that. Because if I can get that wirelessly linked, now here's where something interesting comes in. You have to use your imagination a little bit. This is a Raspberry Pi. This is a special little mount for it. It's just a piece of metal, but I've been meaning to do this for a long time. You can plug this into the Mini as well as that. So you can have a Linux computer in there. And we've already got the software written, but again, I'm testing it up. It's really slow because I've been doing so much else. And the idea is to actually allow this to go in at the same time and have a Linux computer or use AMI hybrid. As well as the UnAmiga, and I mean this. I mean I call it. What do I call it? I call it the Van Helsing pack. So this is like a Van Helsing pack and the UnAmiga, all in one box, which I think would be pretty cool. But not very expensive, and the software's free. The frame, I think about 20 quid for the frame and the cable. Then you put your own Pi in it. Okay. So that's something we'll be doing. But now my thinking is if I can get this little thing to communicate with the Pi and then use the Pi to get to the internet, I think that's a really cool little system. But there you go. Right, let me just have a look, see if we've got any... oh, that's flashing away. Let's have a quiet one. There we go. Just put that in the background. But it's if you want to do Amiga demos, you want to play Amiga games, you want to actually something actually I didn't show you when I ship it. You probably know this actually. And watch the scrolling at the bottom. Oh, see, look. That is so smooth, you wouldn't believe it, but it kind of looks like it's glitching there, doesn't it? It's not. Right, watch this. Every single machine will go out with AMOS and a manual, all approved, all Francois. I know it's public domain, right? But I asked permission. Meals were paid for, that kind of thing, and so you can just jump straight in and do some programming. It's going to be an absolutely brilliant little system. So, advert over. And of course, it's got. I put Shapeshifter on it, and with I put macOS 7.5, I think it is. If you put 8, it's a little bit. It's a bit slow. 7.5 runs great. It's really cool. Cameras. Oh god. This camera's a bane in my life. Did you actually see? How much did you see? Right, let's have a look, see if there's any questions. What we got here? Did you say it's down removable? Yes, that's the plan, because it's not, because I've got it. The monitor tips 5 degrees, and it will be on feet. I mean, the prototype it's actually is part of the top, but the actual final one will be removable. Screw it on. Look, I agree with you that Mister does a lot more, right? I totally agree with you, right? It is the better one, but that's why I'm doing it a lot cheaper, to be fair, because I really like the Mister. But I actually like this as well. See, I've got my Mystics is down there, man. It's usually over here. They get moved around all the time. But this, I like this lime green one. I just think it looks amazing. It's a fantastic device, and I understand. but it, for me, as an Amiga nutter, I think the UnAmiga is just wonderful. Did you say that? Hi, Steve. What OS do you have running there on the UnAmiga? Many thanks. Okay, so it's a really good question. So they all come with Amiga Forever 9. It was 8, but Michael really nicely upgraded all of them to 9. It comes with 9, but because it's got RTG, I really like one of the things in 3.1.4, which is it makes you test, or you can test the mode first when you in the screen mode prefs, and I really like that. And there's certain things about it, and I wanted to support at the time. I wanted to support both Hyperion and Cloanto, and I didn't really please anyone, to be fair. But you get both, so you're getting a license for 3.1.4 and Amiga Forever 9. But the thing that's shipping here is basically an amalgamation of all the software on AF9, including all the demos and all the games, with the ones that I like the most on the front, which is Arkanoid. That's literally the distribution you're looking at. That's what you get with it. But it's built on 3.1.4, and it's also it's a 4 gig HDF file, which is PFS. So pretty solid little system. It's also got personal paint on there, 7 I think it is, and it's got shapeshifter. It's got a whole lot of stuff. It's quite nice. I you know, I can only do that. I can only ship it with it because I give all the licenses. But yeah, as Navcatel says, I have the UnAmiga Reloaded and I'm very satisfied. Yeah, it's fantastic. Eddie was very upset by the Vampire team, apparently. They did, and I get it. I really get it, because they did this chart about performance, right? And they put him right at the bottom and made him look really bad. But the reality is, this is a fantastic little Amiga, right? Even if you don't buy mine, right? Even if you don't buy mine. This, right? Which is pretty much exactly the same, but in a little box. I mean, that's why I've got. He said, "Why do you want one?" Because I want one. It's absolutely fantastic, right? And it's definitely worth the money. Absolutely worth the money. So yeah, it is wonderful. Also, did you say the UnAmiga on the right is in the Checkmate mini case? Yes. Yeah. Did you think it was a 3000? Yeah. No. I swapped it out. That's on the right. Yeah, spiffy keyboard. Do you mean my nice one? Yeah, because remember what I said about the USB ports on the back? They're very hard coded. So I'm actually supplying, when people get the UnAmigas, they get a PS2 keyboard and mouse pack with USB converters, because then it works. That's why I was saying about the fact having USB ports on there confuses people, because they USB. Everything works. No, it won't. Very little works. If it's a keyboard, it has to support your PS2 protocol, basically. If it doesn't, it won't work. Gamepads is a whole different story. But the potential's there. You know, people can tweak the firmware, because that's the great thing about it. Is you can play with it. You know, the firmware can improve over time. But yeah, so I really like this. I think it's absolutely. In fact, I mean, the 2 of these, absolutely brilliant. Stephen is playing a game. Do you want to see a game? Just yeah, no, you don't want to watch me playing a game. Demo scene. See, that's the thing. You see. Oh, hang on. I'm missing quite a few here. I do like the big jog dial on the top right. It doesn't work on an Amiga. That's the only thing. It works on the Mystics, it works on the Pi, and it works on the PC, because they have the software to work with it. On the Amiga, it doesn't work, unfortunately. You're probably aware I'm going to be doing a new keyboard anyway at some point. I reckon Steve is a secret stunt guy. Yeah, amazing how many games will fit into 8 gig. Yeah, that's the thing. You see, because I get it, right? But everyone just dives into this because you can do all the other stuff. But if I only ever wanted to have look, My 3000, I love, absolutely love it, right? And if you look at the background, you see my 1000. The 1000 really doesn't get switched on. The 3000 up until 2 days ago had a video toaster and time-based correctors, but she's not well, and I think the toaster died. So they're getting old, right? And you can't just turn them on. I mean, I had a few little problems. You can see she's absolutely wonderful, you know, and it's still a great machine even now. Oh, I love it. And so, but the one on the right is obviously twice as fast, but it's in all intents and purposes pretty much the same machine, but with AGA. And I think if we sort that networking out, I think it'd be fantastic. Yeah, I just whatever. Right. Can that UnAmiga run the demo named Amiga 1200? The demo named. I don't think I've got it on there because the only demos I've got on there. Look, the UnAmiga can run any of the two. Do you mean the Commodore to Amiga 1200 one? I don't think it's in there. Let's reboot it. Didn't like that last one. The Amiga 1200. Did you mean? Is it the Commodore one they did at the Commodore show? I might have to turn that off actually. Oh no, there you go. Right. Let's try that again. No, it's not in there. I mean, I don't think if it's a 2D one or, you know, I can't see it unless it's got really intense 3D. I can't see there being any problem with it, to be honest. My UnAmiga Reloaded can't. Oh, okay, so is that a complex one and I haven't seen it? No MMS. No. Enterprise 64, did you spot that, did you? Yeah, she's got a little bit of a problem though. When you plug her in, the display, it kind of spins. It's not working properly. Uh-oh, Richard's here. Could a clock port not be added to a future UnAmiga to give better network performance? Well, look, this is not, you're not going to go on the network. I mean, this is not about having a browser or any rubbish like that, right? It's just you're not having it. But what it's good, what you want is to be able to FTP onto sites and be able to do like Aminet, those kind of things, or Wookiee chat, things like that. That this should be quick enough to do the basics. I mean, yes, a clock port maybe. I mean, look, we're talking maybe in the future, but look, if these don't sell, then I'm not going to fund any more. That's a damn sure, because obviously it's all about the D10, which is a shame. But we'll see. We'll see. Because I know exactly what I'd like an FPGA machine to do, and but I can't see getting that for a little while. How many people use SSDs rather than other types of storage in their Amigas? I don't know. do it. I think, yeah, I mean, if you mean by SSDs, I'm assuming you mean like compact flash, you know, micro SDs and these little buggers. Although I don't. I tend to use compact flash ones. I saw you person is still 1200. Yep. Oh my god, this is an awesome deal. Yeah, Mario. Yeah, absolutely right. But everyone, to be fair, the people who bought them previously, right? They obviously paid a little bit more, but they did get an awful lot more than they thought they were going to get, because I chucked a load in. They weren't getting 3.1.4. They weren't getting a keyboard and mouse. They weren't getting a gamepad. So they got a ton of extra stuff. So hopefully none of them are disappointed. But I just want to move the stock. are there links to dev info for UnAmiga, so e.g. programming required? Okay, yeah, that's a fair question. I mean, you'd need to speak to Edu Arana about that. Well, basically, it's Minimig, but they've done a port to it. But you need to speak to Edu to get the answers on there. The core can be done, yeah, because you can have multiple core as well. I mean, I've set this is not basically when you get this one, you can have it set up so it boots multi-core. So when it first starts, it says which core would you like to run. Well, I think that sucks. I'm an Amiga fan. I just wanted to go straight in. If I'm going to do that, I'll get a D10 Nano. Yeah, that's what I'd have. But this is I wanted to boot, and even to the point of having the boing ball spin in, had to do that because it was important. It had to boot as an Amiga. That was the whole point of it. Just jumped in. Are you selling ITX format Amigas? I've been for ages. That's the whole point of the case. I do UnAmiga and the Mystics for D10 Nano, so I've always been doing that. Now I've got low cost fitting kits for D10 as well. So many of my keyboards work just fine. Oh, okay. Currently I use, the only trouble is it scrolls too quick. Currently I use a black HP mouse and keyboard, not like my normal mechanical gaming mouse, but perfect for workbench and pinball. Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. The A1200 Mega demo, so if that works fine. I haven't got it on here. If it runs on D10, it'll run this. I haven't. I'll tell you what. I'll have a look, and if I can. Matthias, can you point me to? I'm sure I probably got it. Hang on. Oh, is this games? A1200 demo. Yeah, of course it will. Oh. Right, I have absolutely no doubt that that will run because it's an AGA game for 1200. It's designed for the 1200. It needs a 14 megahertz 1200. That runs about 70. It's got an O30. It's like twice as fast as an O30 so it's going to run that demo, and it's got AGA, so I see no reason why not. I just don't have it on that distribution, that's all. Okay, but I will test it. I'm absolutely no doubt it won't go on the distribution, and I'll tell you why. I think I explained this, but when I include the Amiga Forever 9 packs, and what I did was I took all the software, I created a distribution with Kickstart 3.1.4, lots of software on it. I had all the software that was on the Amiga Forever, all the games and all the demos, and I put it on this distribution so you've got something to get going. I then added Shapeshifter, which is open now, and I added Amos. I got permission to put Amos on there and a couple of other little bits. It just made this nice little usable, I think nice little usable distribution. Yeah, look, Matthias, this is the thing. This thing here is really meant to go. Another reason I give Amiga Forever 9, because you can show it a PC, set it up, and so you can take, because it's an HDF file, and you can take this, put it in the PC, boot it up into Windows, modify it, put it back in. Yeah? You don't really need it. If you're doing it for games, that kind of thing, programming, you're never going to use this for browsing. It's just, I still think it'd be nice to have the TCP/IP on there so you can do things like WikiChat go on Amiga, download stuff from Amiga, FTP. Even though I know it'd be a little bit slow, but it'd be like the old days when we had Amigas. When I had that in the past. Well, actually, no, I didn't have that, did I? I got that. Well, I got that when they were about 100 quid each. They're not now. Yeah, but WinUE, that's the secret sauce. You just use WinUE, set it all up, and away you go. I actually include. Oh no, I don't know. I include one distribution in there, but there are others you can just download. It's easy, just an HDF and boot from it. But I do it with PFS. Oh yeah, right. SSD was an M2 variety using an ID to SATA and SATA to M2. God's sake. Yeah, I've got that in my my Morphos. I've got one of the Mac Mini G4s, 1.4 gig, and it's actually really nice. I really like it. So I've got two of them. SSG. Yeah, they sell for peanuts now. It's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, Compact Flash is probably difficult to get now. It's very churchy. But if you've got PFS, it's really well. I've not had any problems with PFS. Now that one in there is only 4 gig, which has got everything on it and space. But you can go a lot bigger, obviously. I didn't stick at 4 gig for any particular reason, just that I didn't want to fill it up. Because then you could. And there's also actually on there's blank HDFs, so you can fill them up. Mister doesn't have SATA. Who cares? And it won't be another FPGA board for a similar price and performance. Well, look, performance like this one. This is a lot cheaper, and it's 2/3 of the performance of the D10 Nano, but it hasn't got. It is literally. It's like a Vampire. This one, not performance wise. It's not a Vampire because all the Vampire is an FPGA. It doesn't really do anything else. Right, the fact they've done their own networking stack and all that kind of stuff. But with the D10, of course, you've got Linux and ARM cores and that kind of thing. But yeah, this is just standard with memory and it's just lush. I'm going to do more videos on it because I think it's underrated. And I would like. I mean, I'm actually trying to encourage people to. There's a couple of guys out there working on a 6840. Core CPU, FPGA block, and floating point. And if they bring that out for the D10, and we put it onto this, hopefully there should be room. That will really transform it because I think the sweet spot, an 040 25 megahertz with floating point, it's pretty much a nice little sweet spot. The RTC clock on the UnAmiga was a bonus I missed. Just put in a battery. Yeah, because that was something he said. "Oh, would you like this?" Yes. It's like because originally he did fucking miss one little thing that really annoyed me. He said, "Oh, because on the other ones is you can plug an Amiga keyboard into it, and I even cut a hole in it to put my keyboard adapter." And he took it off. So yeah, but that I made sure that he put that little serial Wi-Fi on there because I think that's going to be. If I can get that working and then get everyone else with it working, I think yes, it's not faster, but it doesn't matter. It's like the speed I used to work with ISDN. It'll be that kind of speed. Right, and chat would be fantastic. Right, chat would be great. FTP would be fine. It'd take a little while. You won't be sending big stuff. You're not going to download an HDF, are you? You're going to take that out, put it in the PC, copy it, put it back in again. But for like downloading like the mod files, that kind of thing from the internet, I think if I can get it working, I think it will transform this. I really do. So you might find that I do the deal and then you've all got a bargain. But it's true, yeah, the RTC, because when he said about it, he can do that. I'll have one, please. question. Just like the Checkmate cases, the Checkmate monitor supports a modular design. What are some third-party add-ons you'd like to see other people work on? Audio. You know, like I'm not an audio guy, right? But I'd like to see maybe because the on here is a very basic amp, you know, amplified. It's not powerful, but it'd be nice if that could go off to a better amp, better speaker, replace the speakers maybe. You know, I don't know, things like that. That'd be quite nice and improve the audio system inside, because you'll be able to just mount, there'll be mount frames inside. I don't know whether it's actually, if rubber mounting the speaker's a good idea, or if it should be solid. I don't know, but because I'm not an audio guy, but so this is what this whole journey is, experimentation. People think when I mention something, I think I'm having a problem with this, right? I'm having a problem with X, Y, and Z, and they go, "Oh, I ain't doing X, Y, and Z." And no, I said I'm having a problem with it. You know, so and it's the same thing as I did with the Plus case. You know, it evolved. You know, the whole business with it was going to actually look like the 3000 with 2 3.5 inch drives. That was how it was going to be, to make it look identical. Brill said, "Well, hang on, why don't you put, you know, why I want to put a 5 1/4 inch DVD in it?" And so, as you can see, we now have, there's 2 5 1/4 bays disguised, so it looks like they're 3.5 inch, but they're just disguised. So that's the kind of thing I'm aiming to do with this. Try and cover all the bases, and you know, if you saw my Plus cases, I pretty much covered most of the bases, and I'm going to try and do the same thing. So yes, I'm not even going to launch this if I can't give you a decent experience, and you know, low latency. I'm not going to say it's going to be perfect low latency, but I can't say that. But because it's a balancing act, all right. But if I can get it as near as damn it really low latency. Then you know, yeah, because I'm selling as a retro system. Okay, Richard. The 15 kilohertz one, right? Little land stream, right? So the monitor, that is the design. Okay, that's because actually someone very kindly did a video, cut bits of my last stream, put it out there, but he splattered on it, did a 3D design by Paul Kitchen, and I'm like, my God, I'm sure Paul's probably watching this, right? And I'm like, you having a laugh, and you spent all that time, and he gets the credit. So no, he took the model and made a lovely job rendering it, because I'm not a renderer. It's a big difference. He did actually do a couple of little bits, obviously, like the front panel, which I really like, and it kind of, you know what, I quite like that, but I still want that little chin underneath there. But yeah, so it's, the design is off being prototyped, so I'm having a 3D printed version. Should be here in about 10 days. So you'll see a prototype. Now it's something for me to build, play with, rip apart, shove bits in it, make a mess, learn, and then I'll do the final design, the new look, with all the new features, once I know where everything's going, because even since I put this in, I realised I've missed bits, and so it's oh, actually we're not actually looking at it. Let me show you, sorry, let me put that up there, you go. So as you can see on the back, this is being made, but not moulded. This is being 3D printed. They have I go to a company in China and they have a massive 3D printer, and it comes out like an injection molded part. It's absolutely stunning, and it will look like that when it turns up, and that should be here very soon. The metalwork's being done at the moment. They've had the design and they're just re-skinning my design. And I've got to go in with the speakers and the mounts and I've got to do a mount frame for this. So probably mid-December I'll be showing the prototype. In fact, if Neil's interested, I may pop up there and show him. And then, you know, then people can start mode. Now let's get back to your 15 kilohertz question. 15 kilohertz panels, look, 4:3 aspect ratio panels are really hard to get. Getting them that are IPS and high quality, they're really hard to, not really hard to get, but you end up buying industrial panels. Who the hell has an industrial panel that's 15 kilohertz? No one does. But what happens is with this, you could put composite, 15 kilohertz composite, and 15 kilohertz component into this, and it displays it and runs it perfectly. Except at the moment, this is a bit where you run off saying it doesn't do 240p. At the moment, it's not handling non-interlace. You can do low res, and if you switch it to interlace, it works. But it's really annoying because I plugged my Amiga into it, and as soon as it was non-interlace, the display disappeared. Real bummer. And so if you scroll it down a bit so it gets the high-res screen behind it, it pops back up again. It's just annoying. So I'm hoping we can work round that and get them to sort it out. Otherwise, we're going to be plugging in an OSSC or a low latency scaler, that kind of thing. Any SD card extender recommended for the UnAmiga? Yeah, any old cheap ones. Yes, I've got one in there. You know what? Everyone who orders one of these should, in theory, have got one of the extenders. In fact, there's also, I took it to the office, I had a little mounting bracket made, and you mount it on the back and screw it in place, and you can get to it from the back. So I'll chuck one of them in there when you get, if you buy one of these. But I think everyone who bought, I actually stupidly hadn't realised they don't work on the Mystics, and I sent about 10, 15 out till I realised that they can't use them. It was a bit embarrassing. I'll take responsibility, because of the way Mystics was designed, you have to pick up the ports, and you couldn't physically get the thing in there, and I missed it. So, but it works great. Works great on the UnAmiga. It's absolutely fantastic, and it costs I pay £1 a pop. I've got a cupboard full of them. Matthias, if you bought one of my products, I don't know if you have. If you bought one from, I don't know if you bought one from me. I don't think you did, but if you're in the UK, I'll pop you one in the post. Or you can just go to Amazon for £5. Just any old one. They work, but don't use them on the Pi. Don't use them on the Pi, because I was originally going to put them in with the Pi, and I did some tests, and it was corrupting the I don't know if it's actually corrupting the data, but it was making a mess of it wouldn't work. Don't put an extender on a Pi, because it doesn't seem to be capable of dealing with the bandwidth. I have your Plus case and I'm very satisfied, but I have a real Amiga 3000 and I really want a mini version. Yeah, I know. Have you seen what Simon Marston did? But I'm not saying do this, for God's sake. No, I'm not saying do this. But if you've got like a battered old 3000 case, you can take the 3000 and put it inside one of my Pluses. Right, so I'm at the advert. I've done the advert. Do you know? I'm hoping that, cause I want to sell these 20. I want to base. I'm not selling just the boards. I'm not doing that. I want to give people, because you get one of my boxes. You open up the brown box. You get that lovely design box. You open it up. I mean, we could put a lot of effort into this. You open it up, and you'll have a keyboard and mouse. And also, as you can see, my keyboards work with the UnAmiga. Okay, they're more expensive. I'll do them for I think the price at the moment is £59 with keycaps. So you can get one of them. But it will be a really good price, and it does look good. And it works wonderfully. So I know I'm biased. But you can also use an Amiga mouse if you've got an Amiga mouse, and you can also use, as you see, I've got an Amiga joystick. In fact, look. Oh, let's switch screens. Ha. Ready? Let's see how good I am. Come on. Ah, it's really slow. Oh, I do like this. It's too slow. Let's leave that. It's just it's really good. And I'm rubbish. I only play with Alfie. So. There you go. Any more questions? It may be more viable to go from composite to digital than process a 240p output. Very nice, very nice. Right, so Richard, well, here's the problem. The composite will work straight away out of the box. So it'll work, but I have no doubt that the latency's dropped a bit. Okay, I think it's maybe a frame, and I haven't got the kit to test it, but I think the composite is obviously being converted and being scaled, and I think there's a little tiny bit of latency that I can just about notice. So the people who are the real hardcore gamers are just going to come. I want people to be aware of this stuff and have a fix. So hence the second pod bay you put in an OSSC or this other one that I'm looking into, which will nail it for those who want to pay a little bit extra to get that. But that's kind of important. But a lot of people don't give a monkey, you know what I mean? They'll put a D10 Nano. They'll have one. I'm not taking this apart, right? Do you know I was going to take this apart and actually put it in my? And you can't get them in my D10s. And I sent the last one off to someone. I realised I needed it for January because I've got a show. I am not taking this apart because I really, really like this. It's a lovely little machine. But anyway, so I don't know what I was talking about. Yeah, so the composite will be fine. The component, when you've got interlaced, if you run your Amiga display, like my 4000s, my 3000s running, that's running, and it's just like having a flicker fixer. It's just high res, PAL, interlace, overscan, workbench. It just looks amazing. Of course, if you put one of these with the RTG in it, it wouldn't look perfect anyway, perfect. So for certain sections of people, they won't need it. But if you're going to play demos and games, it's important because that's why I've got to get this sorted. It's frustrating because I thought it would work, but hence, telling you all about it. And some people maybe just disappeared because, go type doesn't do it, But I don't give up that easy. I bought the UnAmiga in a black case. Oh, you did? Okay, yeah, cool. Have PC in my Plus case from previous campaign, but the Mini Plus UnAmiga is super solid. I know. Did you like Did you get the manual? Still get the excellent manuals, right? Jeremy, if you mean, do you get yes? Because look, this is going to be a really small batch. I've only got 20 UnAmigas. That's it. So I'm going to build these. It's going to be cheaper than what people paid in the Kickstarter campaign. I apologise for that, but they did get plenty of extras. I literally put tons of extras in there. It's going to be just to move some stock, clear it, and then you're going to get both manuals, the nice box, So I'm not sure if I'm going to put the deluxe pack fittings in yet. I don't know yet. But definitely the box and the manuals and everything in the software, because I think most people won't use it, but I may change my mind on that because I've got tons. So. Last week you suggested that you were in the process of making a solid IP out of the Checkmate brand. With that in mind, does the display support power on logo animation? Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, look, I see the Checkmate brand is. I actually think I don't know. I mean, we know about it. Most of our hardcore old Amiga owners know it, but out in the real world, they ain't got a clue. So I probably will. I mean, I like the idea, but the way Paul's done it. Let me change the screen. The way Paul's done it on this picture, which as you can see by the mouse, it's just there. It really looks nice, but I don't know. I might put it on there because one of the things I was thinking of doing. You know, I was saying about having a chin underneath it with the flap. Thinking of putting it like you remember on the Plus case, I had that gap, and then I put that little bit in there to blank it off. I think I'm doing the same thing, but like a kind of so you can put joy ports. You could put USB ports in the front. So you've got this thing you can screw in, which blanks, unless you take it out, 3D print it, so you can put two controllers in the front. See what I'm saying? I'm definitely thinking of having that in there, and that could also be if you want to put the LED, extend the LED from like an OSSC thing to the front of the display. That that kind of stuff. What does the UnAmiga boot? Richard, I don't know what you mean. What does the UnAmiga boot off? I assume you mean off micro SD card. Right, here I'll show you. But I'll do this one more time. Oh, hang on. Let's go back to. I'll tell you what we do. Let's go to that. Because I love this bit. This is why I really like it. See? Mini-Mig. See that? Boot up. Mini-Mig. Once it's loaded, then it loads the Kickstart. And off it goes. Probably takes about another 10 seconds to load. Right, okay, on the subject of the metal case for the A500 keyboard, right, I think I mentioned this earlier. I was a bit disappointed because I asked for those pins to be put on the ITX on Amiga because he had it on the old ones, and I for that specific reason. But he didn't put it on. He seems to think I didn't ask for it, but I did. So it's not a grouse or anything like that. It's just I was disappointed. But he says you can actually modify it to allow you to do that. So the potential's there. Whether it's worth it, I don't know, because you might as well just put one a nice, like, get yourself a nice keyboard. I think the Amiga expects PS2. Yeah. I mean, it's you put the USB ports on there, but you have to have a keyboard supports, a keyboard and mouse that are PS2 compatible. Otherwise, it won't work. How fast does it switch screen modes? Slam, tilt, PAL to high res. Well, if you mean the monitor, because the speed of switching is a big deal, because these ones are not particularly quick. If you change it, the resolution, it's not particularly quick. So it is something I'm going to be wanting to get as quick as humanly possible. Do I have? Oh, I'm not sure what the question is. Do you have them with you to send one to Portugal next week? If you mean the UnAmigas, yes, but I haven't put the ordering system up yet. If that's what you meant. If you meant the monitors, no. About a year to wait for that. I use monster joysticks for my Amiga and they're super solid. So the gamepad I got still in plastic. Yeah, it was rubbish, wasn't it? I mean, it was because they supported it, and I didn't want people opening the box up, turning it on, go to play, and they got nothing. And it is really rubbish. But I bought a load, chucked them in because I didn't want people starting it and get it and you can't use it. Do you have the UnAmiga and the mini cases with you to send? Yes, I do. Yeah, that's the whole point. I'm trying. I've got loads of cases. I've got all the power supplies. I've got everything I need, and but I've only got 20 UnAmigas, and so once they're gone, they're gone. Genuine. Right, Peter. Sorry, I got to you. Final question. Synergy Effects is a key concept within IP branding. If a Kickstarter victory was out of the question, does a Cuban rumba with Neil? No, I'm not doing a rumba with Neil. Look, I know we've had the two guys on Strictly, and I've got to be honest, it was amazing. And then if you watched it this weekend, they were amazing, these two guys, absolutely. But I'm not doing it with Neil. No, I have a very beautiful wife. I do the dance with my wife. But the rumba, I'll tell you a little story on the rumba, okay? I've had a room full of women never laughed so much in all their life. Right, they say that you pick a man that makes you laugh, but I've had a room full of women in stitches watching me rumba. I just can't do it. Yeah, it is a long hour, isn't it? Right, look, is there any more questions? Because I do actually want to... Because we was up late last night with Alfie. Yeah, that was fun. By the way, anyone like my 3000 over there? The Dirty Dancing lifting. No, I'm not lifting you, Paul. Sorry, mate. Yeah. I had a big issue with individual AGA and screen switching in SlamTel. It was so slow. Could have been how I configured. Sold it now. It was not nice. Alright, hello. How are you? We're just finishing. But you can watch the, if you really want to, you can watch the replay. There's some interesting stuff at the beginning when I tell you all the bad news. Not bad news, not long-term bad news, just short-term bad news. Monday, yeah. What do you want to talk about Monday? You might find, I might get that working. I might make that my challenge, but I might not. Because I actually think that if I get that working, it's worth way more than that. But I just really, I'd really like this to sell well, because to me it's like it really is a new Amiga. I just really love it. Yeah, there you go. Just unsolved issues. Yeah, things that popped up. I'm sorry, I got an itch. 240p issues in component. Probably people knew this anyway, but because it worked in composite, I assumed it would. And when I wired it all up, got all the thing all wired up correctly, the Amiga looked fantastic in component. High resolution interlace, just amazing. As soon as you run a demo in low res, non-interlace. It's nothing to do with the resolution, it was the interlace. No interlace, no screen. Really annoying. Right, okay, so I'm going to call it a day now. Hopefully you've all found that useful. I will do it again next Monday. See if I can make it, see if I can do some extra bits in it. But if you want me to do anything, because I actually was going to sit down and show you my wonderful 3000. I put the screens up, and I just love that machine. Not as much as my 1000, but it is a lovely machine. But I thought I'd put them together, have them working, and you can see the two side by side, and see what they look like next to each other. Anyway, all right, guys. I will. Let's go back to here. Okay, guys. Thanks for signing in. Again, I'll do this next week. Maybe some more. Who knows? I might even have a prototype. Really unlikely. It's probably the week after. Beyond that deal, yeah. So just to be clear, because as I said, I'm selling it a bit lower than cost for the UnAmiga, but I'm obviously selling a case and bits and pieces. So for $399 for the case, it's a deluxe case, right? The UnAmiga, the software, and a power supply. So, and that comes with a keyboard, a mouse, all white, no black, all white, because it just won't look correct. If you want the really nice keyboard here, then they're £59 plus VAT with the keycaps. But yeah, so I want to, if I can sell the 20. Now, once they're gone, they're gone. Oh, you died. Oh dear. Didn't do anything. Yeah, so if people are interested, then it's definitely, to me. I just can't. Why are you doing that? Let's turn that off. If people are interested, then fantastic, because it's just a lovely machine. Funny enough, when Edu did it, he sold out instantly. I think it's just the fact that these things sold instantly. I think it's just the fact it goes in my case, makes it more expensive. But of course, it's a look, isn't it? Right. It's a textbook way of supporting your backers. Well, I hope so. If you're going to come to Norfolk in January, I'll be at that big OLL 2022 show. Fuzzy's going to be there with me, helping me. Good man. I talked him into coming. But yeah, so it's, it isn't a white case, just black. No, not too black. No. Commodore, we're calling the 3000 next week. Alright, I'm going to go now. Thanks so much for joining in. And I'll see you next Monday, hopefully. Alright. See you later, guys. Thanks a lot. Bye.